Hello, I'm Mantastic and Fantastic, and today I'm going to be talking about version 15.0 that introduces the plus bank, Tamadra stacking, as well as the evolution gems. So this video will be showcasing all the new changes that have come to North America in the latest update. It will have a bit of in-game play examples because it's just simply easier to showcase how this new monster enhancement tabs works by actually just showcasing it, as well as giving you some tips and tricks on how to actually maximize the potential of all these new mechanics. So the full patch notes can be found on the Gung Ho North America's Facebook page. It can be linked here through my article. But right now we have this monster enhancements tab. So I'm going to be transitioning over into my game screen right here because it's just a lot easier to actually deal with that over here. So as you can see here, I have my regular monster selection screen here, but when I press monster enhancement, all these new things pop up. And these are all quite exciting because it's going to simplify and somewhat streamline a lot of the more complex processes. Now, all these things can still be done through Power Up Fusion the way we used to do it. If you're more used to that or comfortable with that, you don't want to learn a new system, just stick with that. It's not going to be actual big problem. The only drawback is the plus bank is not accessible through Power Up Fusion, but other than that, everything else is still just as accessible. So for all of the options here, I can basically click a button here and it's going to tell me, it's going to sort my box and it's going to show things that are not max skilled. So I have it sorted by 297s, and for instance here, my machine Hera is missing 2 skill ups, as you can see from here. She's 16 of 18. She was max skill at one point. And now it says I can select skill level of monsters. Makes my life easier. So then I could basically find whatever. Say I just choose this machine Hera here and allow me to try and skill her up. Obviously this is a bad idea for the most part. And for the most part, most people probably are going to use P's or Pi's. I just sort it by skill from Power Up Fusion, so this may not necessarily be a more streamlined process overall. I don't think it's necessary. I'm used to the Power Up Fusion, but again, some people might find merit or value for that. Next is the enhance. So this is the plus bank system, and I'm going to talk about this a bit more in the plus bank part a bit more because, well, it's its own section onto itself. We have awakenings. So all the Tamadras are now stackable. So for instance, I can now add awakenings seamlessly. So this Awoke Reincarnated Cao Cao has 8 of his 9 awakenings. I could click the button for full awakenings and it'll show me how many Tamadras I have left. So I'm just going to do that right now. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to use one of my Tamadras and now it's awoken. This is actually a much faster process than Power Fusion, because let's say you want to do 8 or 9 awakenings. You can just do them all in one go. Much faster, much quicker overall. Although one thing that I did note is that I didn't give any monster experience, so that is a little unusual, I thought. Latent Awakening, similar idea. Basically, I could choose, say, any card, and it'll say select Latent Tamadra. It takes me to my Tamadra tab, which is stackable now, and then I could, for instance, just say I want to do 1, 2, 3. It's not really what I would want to do. I'm not going to press Begin Fusion because I don't intend to actually give Latent Awakenings to that card. Now, limit level breakthrough. So this is actually probably one of the more helpful ones because at this point in time, you do, some players are aware that if they have blue text under their name, it means they can be limit broken. So these cards are now able to exceed the level 99 cap. So for instance, if I were going to take that Hino again, it would say select Super Snow Globe. And then I would just choose one of my few Super Snow Globes, and then it would say, do you want to hit Begin Fusion? It would go beyond level 99 to level 100. Again, this is not a card I necessarily want to do that. I'm just showcasing how the things work. And then it has the Super Awakenings tab, which is kind of like a plus bank aspect. So I'm going to transition back into my article, and then we're going to kind of look at how the plus bank system works. So basically, prior to this update, all players have been forced to actually hoard their plus eggs on various fodder cards and try and add them up as efficiently as possible for both time as well as coin cost, because it gets quite pricey to feed pluses to monsters. And generally speaking, you want to make things plus 297 because, well, it's just it takes up less space. But with this plus bank system, we now can have all our pluses stored virtually in this banking idea that Gung Ho has introduced. And this is great because now any plus egg we sell is automatically deposited into this banking system. So that means in your monster box now, if you have lots of 297 fodders, which I've had actually on my other account here, you just should sell all of them. Because now you don't need to actually have them take up your box space anymore. And now it will deposit here 2,970 pluses into my bank account, my plus bank account. So this is actually going to save players a lot of box space. If you have like plus ones or six, sevens, eights, whatever it may be, sell all those, again, deposit into the plus bank. But one truly interesting aspect of the plus bank is that it doesn't care what type of plus it was on the card. So if you had, say, 99 health pluses, you put it in the plus bank, it now becomes 99 pluses in the bank, and you're able to withdraw from that bank pluses in any distribution you want. So for instance, let's say you somehow were blessed with far more health than recovery pluses, and you need recovery pluses for some strange reason. In the banking system, all pluses are viewed as equal. So now you can throw all the recovery pluses as you want, and this interface here is actually quite straightforward. You basically can say, do you want to add 1, 10 at a time, or take away 1, take away 10, and it'll show you how many you're adding. You still have to pay the same amount of coins, but it's going to be a lot faster and a lot easier to plus 297 all your various cards. So this is actually quite an exciting time, in my opinion, because we save dramatically on box space. We also save on buttons, and you are able to actually just press the plus 297. So again, it's just gonna make your life so much faster and easier. It's like, boom, 297, done. Don't have to press it. Like, far less buttons, far less thinking, no more wasted plus eggs, which was actually a big deal beforehand, because I've wasted tons of plus eggs in the past, unfortunately. So what should we do with all these current plus egg fodder? So I kind of guess skipped ahead of this part here, but you should be selling all your plus eggs that are not on important monsters. Like, obviously your rare machine monsters you're not going to be selling, but in this case here, from this screenshot, you can see that all these are just regular Descend bosses. They're all 297, and I can sell them and they're deposited directly in my bank. I don't have to worry about it. So I've gained a couple hundred box space just from this aspect alone, another couple hundred from the Tamadra stacking point. So all the Tamadras, which include regular Tamadras and Latent Awakening Tamadras, are now stackable. So now, again, your box space has been dramatically cut down. From this screenshot here, you can see that my 17 plus attack latents are now just taking up 1 instead of 17 spots. So again, like, your life becomes significantly easier overall, and again, it's just another wonderful quality of life update. So that means we now have evolution material stacking and awoken material stacking. So 2 out of the 3 tabs, if you use the folder system, are now fully stackable. Also, when they become stackable, they lose their plus egg statuses, so those have been directly deposited into your plus bank, as well as nothing can be favored anymore because, again, they stack. But to be honest, those are not necessarily important things. When you use the folder system, you're not going to necessarily accidentally sell or vendor any of these away, or fuse, well, you can fuse them through the new interface, the monster enhancement. But the main idea is now, because they stack like evolution materials, there is no real need or necessity to actually sell them anymore. If they were taking up too much space, you can just simply let them stack up and accumulate. So again, another wonderful quality of life aspect. So if we had just stopped this version update right here, that would have been great, because that could have been like a massive monster box, and as well as a bit of quality of life improvements overall. But now we have these evolution gems, and these evolution gems can seem daunting and complex at first, but in actuality, once you get used to the system, they are actually a wonderful quality of life aspect that is going to simplify a lot of the evolution process. So the main pros of this is that it frees up box space, because evolution gems are fully stackable because they are evolution materials. They go into that folder, stackable. That is great. Lots of box space saved there. But it also opens up evolution options. Beforehand, you had to have these specific Descend bosses in order to evolve XYZ card. Now, you may require like small, medium, or large gems, and those various size gems require different Descend boss drops to actually form. So let's say you only can farm a certain Descend with great efficiency. Another one is too difficult. You're struggling to get this particular boss drop. Well, you can just simply farm the other alternatives for those gems, and your life becomes significantly easier. And this is actually going to be very important, because now what were somewhat tedious and cumbersome evolutions to make in the past now become simplified. So at this point in time, any Descend boss or drop basically can be converted into an evolution gem, and they can come in various sizes and rarities. So we have the small, medium, large, as well as rare / unique. So I'm going to be kind of explaining all of them at once. So the small, medium, large gems basically require you to have any of these possible Descend boss drops. It's a large pool of them to draw from. Each of the sizes requires different things, and it gives a lot of flexibility in terms of what you need to farm. So in an ideal world, you play dungeons that drop their evolved form, so you don't have to actually evolve the individual descend bosses themselves, and then you can convert them into these gems right away. So life becomes a lot easier because now let's say Hanuman, which is kind of an annoying card to get, and for some reason I always had issues with Heracles. I don't know why I never seem to have them in my box. Now I have multiple different options. Instead of having to have those particular descend boss drops, I can just find these gems. So your life becomes significantly easier. But let's see, I'm just rare. I'm just gonna jump to this part here. So rare and unique evolution gems. So certain cards, such as like say Awoken Dancing Queen Hera is the only card that can make the Awoken Dancing Queen Hera gem. So those are kind of the rare or unique gems, and those are found underneath the rare Evo tab. So only those particular cards. There's no flexibility that you can use. You have to use those exact descend boss drops in order to form those unique rare gems. But how do we actually utilize the system? So from this example here, I'm going to be trying to evolve this machine golem here, and I need to have 3 specific gems, like 3 large gems actually. So I've already done a bit of the work already. I've made some of the gems, but I'm still missing this large fire gem. Now from this interface here, Gung Ho will actually allow you to go directly to the monster exchange panel by clicking on that large fire gem icon, and then I will be taken here, and they'll say, do you want to go to Monster Exchange? It's showing all the different cards I own right now that can be used to form the large fire gem. And I'll say, yes, I'll make the large fire gem, and then I can evolve my machine golem. But this example here is actually quite important because for those who have made like Ragnarok Dragons or Machine Hera, Machine Zeus, so on and so forth, we all have come to realize that this is a terrible evolution path because it required basically a red, blue, and green fully evolved golems, as well as 2 additional rainbow gold keepers. So that's 11 golden keepers for one of these for an evolution. Pretty terrible overall, but as you can see here, these large gems now can utilize descend boss drops. So now the opportunity cost, so to speak, of making these machine golems went from 11 keepers of gold to only 2 because I can use descend bosses. And better yet, if I can find descends or dungeons where they drop evolved, I'm going to have a significantly easier time because I don't have to go through the process of evolving them. So these machine golems, such as Ragnarok Dragon evolutions, now become significantly easier. This is a great thing overall. And in all honesty, that's one of the best aspects of the evolution gem system because now we can form or acquire these evolution parts significantly more easily. Like, it's just not going to be as stressful as it used to be, not as tedious. We can be much more stamina efficient because farming purely for Keeper of Golds was not the greatest idea. You're spending 50 or 25 stamina in co-op, I believe, and you got no other drops. Like, you usually have enough of the other keepers for the most part, but you're so starved for those Keepers of Gold. So these evolutions are going to be so much happier and easier overall. Now, most of the evolution gems are tradable. So all the small, medium, and large gems can be traded. Basically, the monster point, the MP sell price cost of cards from before is carried over onto their evolution gems. So things that were tradable before are still tradable now, but again, it just opens up even more flexibility. That large fire gem, for instance, can be any of those cards, so it's just easier to trade them around to various players. They still have an under 100 monster point cost. If you're 99 below, they can be traded. 100 and above, they cannot. So that being said, certain rare or unique evolution gems are not able to be traded because they were not able to be traded beforehand. So for instance, Ilsix is unable to be traded in his evolved form, and it makes sense that his rare/unique evolution gem is also untradeable. So again, like, we haven't lost anything. That's the key. We haven't gone backwards. We're just at the same point in terms of trading evolution material fodder. So that is overall a nice thing for the most part. So when not to make an evolution gem. So I kind of touched upon this house. Only certain cards can be utilized for making these rare/unique evolution gems. So in this example here, you need to have the fully awoken red Hera or awoken dancing queen Hera to form her unique gem. But at the same time, her lesser evolved form can be used to make a medium fire gem. So with this in mind, one should usually never actually pursue the medium or small, medium, large gems with lesser evolved forms of cards that are used to make rare/unique gems. Like from this medium fire gem example here, I could easily trade those 2 other dragons which drop anyways, and I can save those Hera to make those unique gems. It's going to be a little bit of dance. I need to kind of figure out what are the more rare, unique ones, but generally speaking, the fully evolved forms of a lot of Descend bosses or things that are just more complicated or convoluted to make tend to have these unique gems overall. So basically, in conclusion, like, this evolution gem system is going to save you monster box space because look, they do stack. Like, I could have, say, 8 or 10 of these Awoken Dancing Queen Hera Urs, which I might actually have from playing Alt Arena, and now instead of taking up those 8 or 10 box spaces, they only take up 1. And in all honesty, all the other quality of life improvements are a big deal. Like, Tamadra stacking is going to give players significantly more box space, plus a bank is a huge amount of box space, a huge amount of coin savings, and a lot less math and adding up things overall when trying to store your plus eggs. So let me know what you think about this whole version 15.0 update in the comments below. Like, which part are you happy about? Which parts are still a little confusing? And how do you plan to actually maximize the system to your advantage? Hopefully you'll have a fantastic day. I wish you all the best of luck in your own pad adventures, and happy puzzling.